Non-symbolic mathematics in the parallel universe or universal grammar. Saturday, June 22, 2024. A wise man, Plato, the founder of formal grammar, said that all we can name are the two principal elements of a thing, its relative, called a verb, and its correlatives, called nouns. These two elements of a thing define it and therefore, determine that all information processing is dialectical, that is, binary. Today, this is proven around the world by the computer. In short, binary is the foundation of universal grammar, and there is one, and only one, written grammar which pairs these two elements of a thing with the hand and therefore, the mind. Many linguists speak of universal grammar, postulating its existence, telling their dark tales about it. However, they would not know what universal grammar is even if it bit them in the ass. Universal grammar is a grammar which is completely metaphorical. One of the things this means is that the grammar, in of itself, can demonstrate, just like its real counterparts, all of the operations of data management often called mathematics. Universal grammar is established by a one-to-one relationship between the two elements of a thing in the perceptible with the two elements of that thing in the intelligible, and as wholly metaphorical. The management of information is effected by operations common to all information, such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, exponential and arithmetic series, and, one that is seldom mentioned, assertion and denial, which is derived from the composition of the preceding simple operations. This operation has another name, judgment. In short, the simple elements of mathematics, combined, allow us to effect judgment. Therefore, if you do not know, cannot demonstrate, the elements, in their simplest form as operators, data management algorithms, you do not know grammar. Geometry, often called Euclidean geometry, is universal grammar, and Plato was one of the first linguists who said that geometry could provide us with all the perceptible paradigms of reasoning, that is, all of grammar. One will notice, the figures do not require any logical symbols. We use logical symbols to guide our examination and for memory of that examination of the figure. Logical symbols allow us to organize the focus of our attention and comprehend a thing one step at a time. In analogic, everything is happening all at once. Logic allows us to parse that information, and order it so that we can wrap our simple mind around it, step by step. We have to learn to walk our mind around perceptible paradigms, perceptible metaphors, not written in a logical grammar, but as pure intelligible analog information. Every linguist seems to forget, perception precedes logical symbolic encoding. This encoding does not determine the perceptible facts. In short, the gibberish which comes out of your mouth or at the behest of your so-called logic, does not determine perceptible fact. A child, comprehending the simplicity of what they see, can disprove the so-called Einsteins and Chomskys of the world. The world is not built on illiterate theories, but the simplest of demonstrable facts, the foundation of grammar, itself, the ability to say exactly what you see, without embellishment, without mythology and theories telling stories, and certainly without the savage belief that your words are somehow the magic in the universe. A thing is defined as any relative parsed by correlatives. Thus, grammar is comprised only of two, and only two parts of speech, two and only two concepts, limits and the material, difference, within those limits. These two elements of a thing, a relative difference and the parsing boundary, are also called nouns for the correlatives, and verbs for the relative. The study of grammar is then only involved with the definition of a thing, and its recursion. This definition names the relative difference, and the parsing boundary of that relative. These two elements are perceptible and intelligible, that is, they form a grammar matrix, which one can envision as a perceptible square. This matrix is composed of common grammar, arithmetic, algebra and geometry. Geometry alone is the only member of our grammar matrix, which can provide perceptible paradigms for all members of the grammar matrix. A plus B equals C. Therefore, if there are no parallel lines, one cannot do simple addition or name the sum of two things. A minus B equals C. Therefore, if there are no parallel lines, one cannot perform simple subtraction or name the difference between two things. A times B equals C. Therefore, if there were no parallel lines, one cannot multiply one value by another, that is, perform recursion, or name the results of a recursion. Notice that the operations are not of the symbols, as is commonly claimed. The operation is not performed on the symbol, but is noted as action and reaction of things upon other things. Those who claim that logic is independent of the intelligibles of the perceptible, are lying about the most fundamental principle of grammar and principle of survival, the parallel between the perceptible and the intelligible. B divided by A equals C. Therefore, if there were no parallel lines, then one cannot divide any difference by another, which means name a particular ratio between two things. The reciprocal of A is 1 divided by A. With the reciprocal of A, we find that it produces the circle. Therefore, if there were no parallels, there would be no reciprocal, and if no reciprocal, then no circles. We could neither name the reciprocal or name a circle. The function of the reciprocal affords us the ability to see the path of the square root and to name it. Therefore, without parallels, one cannot know or name the root of anything. Without the parallel, the previous operators would not exist. Without the previous operators, assertion and denial would not be possible, for assertion and denial depend upon the results of prior operations upon information. Therefore, without the parallel, no reasoning, no grammar, no universe, is possible, and man could not have possibly evolved to take advantage of what the mythologies, the Einsteins and Chomskys claim as a product of pure human intellect, an intellect which cannot even comprehend what is a factual product of their own hand. Conclusion. Plato said, and rightly so, that names, in of themselves, have no meaning. Meaning is afforded by what we name and how we may or may not find it useful. Plato also rightly said, of the two elements of a thing, we can predicate nothing, each element is not a thing. All we can do, is just what you saw, we can name them, that is all. We can arrange those names after the manner the operation informs us, and then we learn. Regardless of this, our scholars are filling up libraries full of theories concerning that which we can only name. This means that these people sure like the sound of their own voice. What they say has absolutely no meaning or relevance other than some fool sycophant demands that you memorize and spout back this rubbish. No wonder people are still illiterate, they are too busy being made to memorize garbage instead of pondering the beauty of simplicity and learning. What is absolutely certain, after viewing the metaphorical geometry, symbolic logic is a hoax perpetrated by fools. The geometric figure does all the math, and does not need any of the rubbish, it is not part of the demonstration. We can either look at the very simple operations, which stay simple no matter how large or how small a relative difference is involved, and we can either follow along with such thoughts as A is to B, so too is C to D, and the like, putting our comprehension into simple grammatical words. We can put the same information in common grammar, arithmetic grammar, algebraic grammar, and geometric grammar. Any person, who can look at the simplicity of the system but starts yapping about theories, is just hopelessly stupid. We factually can demonstrate all of the operations of information processing in geometry, which means only a fool, who cannot say what they see, will forever end up concocting these infantile fables as a conciliation prize for their witlessness. I have shown the elements arithmetically in this demonstration, but as anyone ought to know, There are two types of identity afforded by the two elements of a thing, and in that regard, I will demonstrate the operations performable on information geometrically. These two equalities, as Plato noted, are reciprocal. Both cover the whole range of the unit. During the demonstration, I will not say a word. You can make up stories if you are bored considering the figure.
False words are not only evil in themselves, but they infect the mind with evil. Phaedo by Plato,